As promised, Conor Garland joining us now on NHL Tonight. There he is. Conor, how are you? Congratulations. Like we said, staying put in Vancouver for the foreseeable future, 6 years. What led to that decision on your end?
Well, I think just a willingness to stay. And, I was really excited, when the opportunity came to play for the same team for such an extended period of time, means a lot to me. And then obviously here, we're getting a few guys back as well. We got a pretty tight-knit group there. I think we're a really good team. I think, we stay healthy this year. We'll be a good club. And, going into the future, we got a lot of good pieces coming as well.
Yeah, I just mentioned we were talking about the Canucks. I mean, 2 years ago, you guys were in the Final Eight. You lose to the Edmonton Oilers in a seventh game. They go on to the Cup Finals. So, I mean, this team seemed primed and ready to take more steps. And then last year there was some injury issues. And then there was just all the things that went on behind the scene there that were pretty well documented with Miller and Pettersson. He gets moved out. I mean, is it nice for you and for your teammates, you think, to have a fresh start this year at training camp?
Yeah, I think, probably what hurt us most, and, I hate using excuses, but we went through a lot of injuries and, untimely injuries. We just couldn't really ever get healthy. It felt like when one guy came back, two went down. So never really got our full roster on the ice. But, we're still 4 points out of a playoff spot in a tough Western Conference. So we feel we can come back healthy. We feel, a lot of us have great summers and a good training camp. We can put ourselves in a good position, to be a good playoff team. But obviously, yeah, a lot went on last year, but, we learned a lot. We went through a lot of adversity as a group, and I think it only makes us better going forward.
Conor, I know you're focusing in on the Vancouver Canucks right now, but I got to go back just a month ago to the World Championships. As a fellow American, congratulations. Thank you. I've been cheering a long time for this to finally happen. You were a huge part. You got 5 goals, 5 assists. You were one of the assistant captains, and you brought back a gold medal in the World Championships. Just tell us a little bit about that experience and what that means to you.
Yeah, don't apologize for that. I'll talk about it for hours. So we had a great group. I was on a couple of teams that lost in the semifinals, and I always, when I wasn't there, I'd always root for them. But a little bit of me was I don't want to be sitting on my couch when I watch them win gold. I wanted to be on that team that finally did it and broke through. It was 1933 the last time, so. It was a really great experience. I remember sitting in there before overtime, and a lot of those young guys, I was nervous. I couldn't have been any more nervous, but a lot of the young guys who had played in the U18s, World Juniors, they were talking like they've been 20-year vets, telling us, don't worry, we're winning. I was sitting there laughing, listening to Conor Gauthier and Yves Bouillon talking before the overtime. So, but then I realized, they said, if these guys are calm, we're winning. I'm not worried. So, and Tomer ended it early. I didn't even get a shift, so I was very excited about that.
We talked about bringing back some of the familiar faces to Vancouver. You got a familiar face now as your new head coach in Adam Foote, previously an assistant coach for the last 2.5 years. How does that relationship work, player-coach? Because we know good cop, bad cop when a coach slides in from the assistant role into the head coach. What's that relationship like, and how does that maybe change now that he's the head coach there in Vancouver?
Yeah, I don't really look at it as that way. I think Footy was a very demanding assistant coach. I was on his PK unit, very detailed, very smart. I know he worked with the Ds very well, hard on them. But when stuff, in personal life or in your game wasn't going well, he's a guy you can lean on. And I'm sure that's going to be the same. His door is always open to talk to. So I always appreciated that in that sense. But I just think he's a really smart coach, really smart, understands the game. He's won, at every level. So it's always easy to play for a guy that's done, what you dream of doing. So someone that we listen to and we all love playing for.
Hey, Conor, I want to go back to what, you and Tony are talking about, the World Championships. And, like, you mentioned a couple of guys, Conor Gauthier and Yves Bouillon. I mean, you're on that team. You're getting to meet some of these guys. You play against them, but you maybe don't know them. And those guys are just really, finding their way into the league now. Were there guys in that team that, like, you played with and you're like, wow, this guy's way better than I thought?
Put it like that, it almost sounds bad, but there are guys that one of the guys I came home and talked about because he was a Bruin is Andrew Peeke, and what a big piece he was for us, and as a shutdown defenseman, right-handed shot, a great guy in the room, like one of the better teammates I've had, and just did anything for the team to win. So Yeah, there was a few guys like that. Shing, Pinto, Matty Beniers. I knew how good Matty was just from training with him, but I was honestly surprised how much better he was than I already thought. So there's a bunch of guys, and that's happened at every tournament. But when you win and you see, how every guy contributed in each kind of medal game, it was really cool when it all came together.
And Conor, now that you got your contract signed, what's up for the rest of the summer? Are you staying in Vancouver? Are you heading anywhere for a little getaway time?
No, I live in the South Shore of Boston in Marshfield. I don't travel. I'm not a huge fan of it, so I love staying here the whole summer. I have a 8-month-old son, so just to be able to spend as much time with him, and I'll skate here in the pro leagues, and I'll work out, and that's kind of what I do all summer. I'm a homebody. I love to stay here and just enjoy it.
Well, you've earned it. Congratulations on the new deal. Enjoy the offseason, and look forward to seeing you on the ice in Vancouver for the foreseeable future. Thanks, Conor.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Conor.
Have a good month.
All right, Conor Garland.